All right, we're step 3 of the call framework, collecting inventory. Tyler, tell us.
All right, so this is basically where we're going to gather all of the information that we're actually going to base the move off of. So, at this point, what I would tell the customer is I would say, all right, I got you loaded into the system. We got the 2 addresses. I got all my trip and travel information. So at this point, we're going to gather an inventory from you. This is a good time to ask the customer and say, like, hey, Ben, out of curiosity, have you ever used a professional moving company before?
No, I've never have.
Okay, so Ben's never used a professional moving company before. He has no idea how to expect this next part to go. So I kind of like to preface a little bit and give him an idea of what to expect. So I would say, all right, Ben, just so you know, we're going to go room by room. We're going to discuss the furniture pieces that are going to be coming out of each room, and we're just going to talk about the furniture since you're handling the packing. I like to do this in a particular order, so we're going to hit all of your bedrooms first. If I remember correctly, you did say you had 2 bedrooms, correct?
Correct.
So at this point, I'm going to go in. We already have bedroom created as default. I'm going to add another room, and we're just going to say bedroom number 2. And then I would go, okay, Ben, let's go back to your primary master bedroom, and then tell me what's going to come out of that room.
I have a bed and a frame, and I have 2 nightstands and a dresser.
So we're going to put in a bed frame. What size mattress?
Queen.
So you said you had a queen size bed, bed frame. You said you had 2 nightstands, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, you said you had a dresser. Is that a wide dresser, or is that a tall chest of drawers style dresser?
It has 4 drawers, and I guess it's about like 4.5 feet tall.
Okay, I'm going to put that in as a chest of drawers style dresser. Is that it for that bedroom?
Yes.
Okay, so just to confirm, we had the queen size bed, bed frame, 2 nightstands, and a chest of drawer style dresser, and then everything else is going to be items that you're going to have boxed and ready to go for us upon arrival, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I just collected a basic inventory. I asked him if that was everything. He said yes. I kind of went, one step further just to kind of confirm everything and make sure that we're not going to show up on move day and there's going to be a bunch of hidden items. So at this point, we don't necessarily need to go through the whole process, but let's just pretend that I went on to bedroom number 2 and we gathered furniture for that, same as we did for bedroom number 1. So that's kind of phase 1 on how I do an inventory. The second phase is I would tell the customer, okay, so we've discussed everything coming out of the bedrooms. Let's move on to the primary rooms of the house. And at that point, I would guide them through the living room, the kitchen, and the dining room. Once we knocked out the inventory for those 3 rooms, I then move on to my final phase. So at this point, I would tell Ben, all right, so we've discussed all bedrooms, we've discussed the primary rooms of the home. I would just like to ask, are there any additional spaces that maybe are unique to your home that we haven't discussed yet? Maybe that be an office, a sunroom. Do you have anything on like a balcony or a patio, anything like that?
Oh my gosh, I have a patio, and I have a shed as well. Wait, I don't have a shed because I live in an apartment.
That's all right. But a lot of times, customers don't think about certain spaces. So this is kind of like why it's important for us as the sales rep to really lead the conversation, and this is why we have that framework, because I want to make sure nothing gets missed. A lot of times customers like to jump all over the place, but I'm sticking to my framework. I'm doing all bedrooms, I'm doing primary rooms, and then I'm asking about additional spaces. And that just helps me consistently guide every customer through the same process to make sure that everything's accounted for. Because this is literally what we're basing everything off of. It is pertinent that this is as dialed as we possibly can be.
Can I ask 2 questions? I'm going to go back to the beginning of this step.
I bet.
Number 1, you asked me, have I ever used a moving service? What would you do if I said, yeah, so I've had a moving company move me before. They broke a few things. What would you do then? How would that change the approach?
Yeah, so depending on what we know about the company, so like me personally, I've been with a lot of these companies that I service for quite a while, so I can actually speak upon like particular guys that I know have been with them for maybe that's 5 years. I got guys that I know have been with certain companies for 10 and even 20 years. So a lot of times I'll talk about the longevity of the companies and some of the employees there. So maybe if Ben expressed that concern, or he said, yeah, I used a moving company before. It wasn't the greatest experience. I had some stuff broken. I wouldn't harp too much on that. Like, I don't want to talk about negative stuff in this move, but I would say, hey man, like I'm really sorry to hear about that. You know, just so you know, we do have a lot of employees that have been with us for a long time. You know, we really invest in training. We want to make sure that we're giving you quality movers. You know, we don't try to hire day-to-day help. All of our guys are full-time. They've been with us for a long time. You know, we've been in this industry. This isn't new for us. You know, you're going to love what we're going to do for you. We're going to come in, we're going to pad wrap all of your belongings. We're going to put floor runners down. We're going to put door jamb protectors up, and not only make sure that we're protecting your belongings, but the home itself.
That's awesome. Can we reset the role play to the beginning of the step? And I want to kind of throw a spontaneous thing at you. So why don't you set me up with the inventory again?
Yeah, so I mean, after I collect that basic information, this is kind of when I would tell Ben, like, okay, like I like to do things in a particular order. We're gonna do all of the bedrooms first. Let's start in the primary bedroom. What do you got?
Well, I have like a couch in the living room. I have a dining table as well, and I also have another table in the kitchen.
Okay.
And also I have two
Can
beds.
I just stop you for a sec, Ben?
Sure.
We're actually going to go through room by room. Like I said, I have a particular order I like to do this in just to make sure that everything is as accurate as it can be in the system. I don't want to miss anything myself. I don't want you to miss anything. So if you wouldn't mind, can we go to the bedrooms and we're just going to discuss what's in there first?
I love that because as a customer, I was about to take control of the whole call because it was all up to, I was going to define what the inventory was. You yanked me back graciously and politely, but you said, we're going to do the master bedroom, and you stayed in control of the call.
Yeah, I really want to lead the conversation. Honestly, a lot of these phone calls can take quite some time. I mean, anywhere from 20, 30, 40 minutes. We don't want them to take longer than that. And that's even with us sticking to the script and kind of following the line. You know, one thing we talk about in training is you got to like envision a line. You know, we're starting in the beginning, the sale is at the end. We got to get to the end. So when we start detouring away from the line, we got to bring the customer back to the line. We got to be on the line to get to the end. If we're doing this the whole time, it's going to take us forever to get to the end. So we want to keep, the. I
love that.
We want to stick to the line, and you don't got to be rude with the customer. You know, you can just politely say like, hey, like I like to do things in a particular order. I want to make sure that nothing gets missed, and I want to make sure that you don't miss anything. Let's try to go room by room and focus on stuff that way.
That's awesome. Well, that's step 3. Let's get on to step number 4.